Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Rachna. How are you today? Welcome back. It's been a while.
I know. How are you?
What's different? What's changed? Tell me everything.
Oh, I'm glad we're doing the ending.
What a nothing burger. I'm sorry if anybody is super enjoying this season. Obviously, people have their different taste level and what they find entertaining and enjoy, like joyful about any series. But this wasn't it for me. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for anybody that very much enjoyed the season, but I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And I'm trying to figure out why. And I'm wondering if it's because it doesn't have, I think we talked about it before, enough glitz, or the storyline is just a little bit too basic. Like, I'm not sure what it actually is because everybody's gorgeous. I like looking at beautiful people. Maybe their fashion isn't that exciting. So I'm not like, what are they wearing or what are they wearing? Like, I don't care. Maybe Teresa's outfit. What do you think of Teresa's mirrored jumpsuit?
I really wasn't feeling it.
It didn't look that great. Like, it was an interesting idea, but kind of
Yeah.
looked a little bit arts and crafty to me.
Yeah. I didn't love anyone's look. I thought if I was to pick, I think Jackie looked the best. But
She had the best
also,
glow up kind of best look. Yeah.
well, I like her dress the best, is what I meant.
I
But
didn't really pay attention, which is
yeah,
bad.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like in other reunions that I've seen, they do the walk on, so they each walk on individually. You get to see them in their dress standing up. We didn't see that this reunion until the very end when they're cheersing. So
I
I wonder
didn't
what
even
that.
look. I was just like, is this over? Thank you. I wrote down their cheers.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, I think overall Melissa's look was the most well put together because, like, I'm not a fan of like the way they do their hair, and I feel like she just, kept it really simple and tight and sleek, and it was consistently sleek.
I'm also thinking too that maybe it's because I wouldn't want to hang out with any of them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also what the problem might be for me, because like on other seasons or other series, I'd be like, oh, they're my favorite. Like, I totally would want to go and do XYZ with that person. Like, that would be so
Mhm.
fun. Or, can kind of picture yourself maybe doing some of these activities with some of the ladies. And none of these women, even if I lived in Jersey and they asked me to be on the show, I'd be like, do I have to hang out with these people? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad bashing, not bashing, but like my opinion not being that favorable. But I just saw, I binged the first few episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm like, this is fun. And like, I
Mhm.
haven't finished it yet, but I'm gonna go watch the rest of Beverly Hills, and I'm like,
Mhm.
love this. And it's just like, I don't know if it's just because it's a polar opposite of this particular franchise, but I enjoyed them both immensely more than I did this season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Have you watched either of those yet or no?
No, no, but I'm gonna start Beverly Hills last season. I'm gonna watch that this week and then move
It's
on to the
good.
new season.
I mean, it obviously it's gonna have like the same kind of fights and all that stuff, but maybe I also know some of those people a little bit better. I watched Beverly Hills for longer in the beginning than I did watch New Jersey. New Jersey, I guess I really immediately did not gravitate towards that cast, or that
Mhm.
style, or that the vibe. Um, And so, like, I know Kyle and I know Lisa Rinna. I watch Days of Our Lives. I'm so intrigued by the Hilton family
Mhm.
with Kathy being there and then her sister Kyle. Like, I guess I'm more intrigued by the wealth in Beverly
Yeah.
Hills, and they have like books and stories on their families, some of these people, and so maybe that's also what I think is interesting. I've lived in California, kind of. My dad used to have a house in on Newport Beach, and so I would go to California for the summers and like for Christmas and stuff like that. So like maybe I have a kinship there. I don't know, but it's fun. What do you think about the set? So the set was set up like Nashville, which was where they ended off the season for New Jersey.
Um, I found it to be a little bit like not like nothing jumped out at me. Like there were definitely I'm just gonna let that ambulance pass or the siren, whatever it is. Um, they, there were definitely pieces on the set that I was like, oh yeah, that looks like Nashville, but like the bar in the background, and it just kind of all like it just I just didn't notice it actually. It was
I mean,
unremarkable.
I
But then
noticed
like
it just because
the
they pointed
cow
out.
chair, the cowhide chairs, I was just like, okay, I kind of get it, like cowboy, but like also it's ugly, like it.
Well, and I appreciate wanting to have an interesting set, and it was a nod to obviously the last couple of episodes. But it's the Housewives of New Jersey. So do they not have any set in New Jersey that's iconic? That like they did. Oh, you haven't seen it yet, but like it just didn't make me feel like, oh, this is New Jersey. This is like the finale for this season.
Well, what was the set for OC?
They've always been doing that set. I don't know if they've ever named it. I
Wasn't
could have
it?
just
I
not
thought it
paid
was.
attention
I
though.
thought it was from a trip they did.
Oh, I don't remember, to be honest. So maybe I
Okay.
shouldn't have made that comment. But I just remember some seasons they've played off of places where like people's homes and stuff like that. And so I don't know.
Okay.
But I didn't really care for this one either. It just was like, okay, well, I get it. You went to Nashville. Let's have a Nashville set for New Jersey.
Yeah.
I didn't write them all down, but he kind of, Andy, as usual, will go around and ask, how everybody's doing. He asks Margaret about a Hungarian phrase, which she's able to say. And what was it? Go F yourself? What did she say?
Something like that, yeah.
Jennifer talks about her nose is settling in fine, and she removed her chin. Teresa had appendicitis apparently, and she's not allowed to scream. So Andy was a little bit worried for her at this reunion. And Dolores has a new man, and they said the L word to each other. I think Dolores is very delightful when she's shy about relationships. You're like, no.
I mean, I haven't seen her in other I haven't seen her in other relationships, so I can't really I don't really have.
I kind of just mean like how they're like, so, and she's like, oh my God. Like she just seems
cute.
like
she
was in high school.
Sure. Yeah.
So we get the Jen and Dolores fight. Like I didn't even realize what they're fighting about. Like when did that happen?
Yeah, there was a lot actually that I was just like, I was really confused. So yeah, why is it? Because like
maybe they watched it and for Jen to be like, you weren't my friend in certain situations. But I was just like, whoa, like I'll never be your friend again, and you're disgusting. I'm like, oh my gosh, like when did we get here?
Yeah, I guess what I'm wondering is, do they, like, I know they filmed the reunion after
most
like
of it airs,
maybe months after they finished filming the season, but when they film the reunion, have they themselves seen the whole season?
Not the whole season. I would say, if my memory is correct, maybe 10 episodes in, like a couple months into the season.
So I wonder
you've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, I wonder like if maybe it's like Jennifer pissed off about, I don't know, like was Dolores at some point like, I give up on you, Jen?
Well, the only thing I can think of is when I think it was when they were at the townhouse and Jen came in and she was crying, and then Margaret kind of came in and did her bulldozing stuff. Like I think
no, but that was too early in the season for it to impact the reunion. I feel like they progressed a lot.
Well, I mean, I think watching it back though, maybe that started up something, and maybe they didn't talk. Maybe they
Right.
or maybe there's social media stuff. I mean, they would have brought it out, I guess, if there was. But um, that's the only thing I can think of is when Dolores was like, "Suck it up," basically, and don't be upset with, or maybe it was at the bar when Jackie was being friends to
Yeah,
Jennifer.
exactly.
So it's a little
But
bit
they have
weird.
actually moved, like in the season, they've moved forward from that moment.
I think
So
it's the playback though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair. But it feels like something really bad though.
I think that's actually just what it is, because
I mean, even Dolores is like, I think Dolores is just like I mean, I think Dolores called Jen crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I wrote that down. Jen is crazy. So,
all I wrote though is like all this yelling at Jen, and then the whole, oh, maybe no, okay. So then they had the whole stick his dick in someone else like fight. Like, it's so disgusting. Like, we talked about it before, obviously, but like, I get where Jackie's coming from, and like, why are you guys being so prude about it? And I agreed with whoever said, like, Teresa's always talking about pineapples to make you smell
right. Margaret
like
said
taste
that.
good. So like, that comment wasn't that crude, in my opinion.
No,
What was the crude
no, I
level
mean,
for you?
the word dick isn't even censored off those shows. So, like, I don't get it either. I think it was just, I don't get it. I also think like Jen was a different version of herself on the reunion. Like, we've never seen her well, not in I haven't, because I haven't seen previous seasons, but in this season she didn't lose her composure in this way where she yelled and interjected, and like she didn't even let Bill speak at some points. Like, she was a very different version of herself than I'm used to seeing, and so I feel like she was set off, and then that got Dolores being like, "You're crazy," and then that set Jen off even more. And so I don't know.
Well, rumor has it that the reunion is kind of the audition to be asked back for the next season.
Yeah, that
So
makes
I
sense.
think they try to bring it drama wise, to show that like they have a storyline. So maybe that is what is going on with Loris and Jen. So now they have storyline built in, is repairing their friendship for next season. I'm wondering if that's why we saw so much unnecessary yelling, is that they're all hoping to get that paycheck. We did hear from Jen later on that this is her thing. This is something that she wanted to do, and so I think that she wants to hold on to it, and so maybe that's why she was acting a little bit more intensely than we've seen her. Is that she wants the paycheck and the call.
I mean, that doesn't make me want to watch the show. Does
I'm
that
not watching
make
it.
you
I
want
mean,
to
I'll
watch?
watch it, but I'm not covering it.
No, I don't even think I'm watching it. Like, I no.
It's content though. I mean, I am a content junkie, and I do watch it all. So I
But
probably
how do you
will.
okay, but if you had a time restraint, are you really gonna, of
No,
all the housewives, are you really gonna pick
I'll
New
watch them
Jersey?
all though. But Jersey will be the one that I'll watch. Like, oh, I haven't seen this season yet, and I'll binge it like
Oh, okay.
in like September. You know what I
Got
mean?
it.
That's what
When
I
there's
think, or
nothing else
whenever it's
going
on.
on. Yeah, okay,
Exactly,
fair.
exactly.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not going to be keeping up with it week to week like I do
okay.
with most of my other shows.
Right, okay.
So, and then I wrote, Lord, all this fighting.
Yeah.
Boring.
It was really not entertaining.
No, not at all. We
And
get to love.
I
Ooh,
couldn't follow. I was like, I actually don't know what you're fighting about.
I just tuned out.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
and
like,
I noticed that like the real intense fight was about petty things. Like, I wrote it down, but I forget what I can't find the note right now. It was really petty, and then there were moments between Jen and Margaret where they were fighting about obviously their tension in the season, and they made up rather than like having a full on fight. And I was just like, oh, that was boring. Like, that was boring. Like, was that a fake makeup, or are they just doing it to put this one to bed? Like, I was like, this is just boring. This is like a real, this is real conflict. It's not just like, oh, the word dick was used, you know? Yeah.
So then we get to the love bubble conversation that we are all so tired of. Well,
Yeah.
we both of us, anyways. And Andy, we have Andy like really urging Teresa to get a prenup, and she does not want to have a prenup. I understand that prenups are very unromantic. But what do you think about prenups in general, especially since I don't know if Teresa has more money than Louis, but she definitely has more status. So, what do you think about the prenup?
Oh, I think you should get one. Like, even this, I mean, this came up on Summer House too. And even in that situation, Amanda was like, because I just saw their reunion yesterday.
More
She,
entertaining, right? I haven't seen the
oh,
yesterday's, but the week before I started watching, I was like, this is entertaining
it's,
for a reunion.
yeah, it is entertaining. And I'm curious, I'm more curious about the tension between Lindsay and Amanda. I mean, Lindsay and
And
Paige.
Paige, even though
And
I can't stand Paige, I'm sorry, Paige is not my girl.
I can't stand Lindsay.
I don't mind Lindsay.
Um,
Lindsay's a Leo. Why you don't can't stand a Leo? They're all Leos, actually. Lindsay, Amanda, Kyle are all Leos. Um, Daniela and Sierra have the same birthday. They're Capricorns.
oh,
Which
really? That's
yeah,
interesting.
which is interesting when considering they had that fight.
They had
Paige is a
several fights.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Carl is an Aquarius, birthday near mine. I don't remember when. Is that everybody? Anyways,
So,
it's go ahead.
yeah, I mean, the whole prenup thing, like, even Amanda admitted, like, she doesn't know, she doesn't really understand what it's for. Like, she didn't understand that would protect her in some ways. So, going back to Teresa and Louis, like, you know, Louis announced he's lost a job. You know, sure, right now he's got more than Teresa, but in a year he could have nothing. And in which case, you know, Teresa would lose a lot. So she needs to smarten up and
And this is
get
the
a prenup.
thing. Like, for instance, I might have mentioned this to you before, but like when I was in high school, my mom was in a relationship with this person that ended up being not a great example of of a father figure, and we ended up having to leave everything that we had, like kind of in the middle of the night, leave our house that we loved to them because it was so bad. And so if there was a prenup, I don't know if I don't think they ever got actually married, but if there was some way to protect, like I would have still had the house that like I love so much that like you know what I mean? Like we would have been
Yeah.
protected there instead of having to leave in the middle of the night and go and start afresh and anew. And
Yeah.
so I understand that it's not very romantic to be like planning for the potential of a breakup, but I kind of understand people being like, this is it's part of the business. It's a contract. Marriage is a
Yeah.
contract, and this
Marriage
is
is a
part
contract,
of the
exactly. Yeah.
contract here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
And
agree. And I think who's the one from Potomac? Is her name Amanda who just
Ashley,
Ashley, yes. Yeah, like she did it right. Like she obviously
yeah, get that those millions.
she obviously negotiated a prenup that was like, I'm gonna stick with this marriage and I'm gonna make bank, and good for her, you know?
Absolutely, be like 2 kids, bang bang, ten
Yeah.
million, boom. Like
And I hope Lisa Hochstein has a good prenup too.
who's Lisa? Oh yeah,
Miami.
from Miami. Yes.
Miami, yeah.
What's going on there? I mean, I think she will definitely would have, especially just from plastic surgeon, all this stuff. Like he has a practice that if he gets sued, she shouldn't be getting sued necessarily.
Yeah,
It's keeping
exactly.
certain things separate. um and so yeah, I'm sure she has a good one in place, especially if it's infidelity. I'm sure that's something she's gonna
Yeah,
do okay.
yeah,
um
exactly.
Definitely. So I understand that it's not romantic, but Teresa, be smart about it. And if everybody's telling you that, hey, you should maybe consider this, they're not doing it to tell you that your relationship is bad. They're doing it to protect you in case you're wrong or in case things change, in case what if something catastrophic happens and
Yeah.
you are no longer in your love bubble anymore and you guys start fighting and then he just takes you to the bank for everything that you have. Like, you like, I get it. You don't want to think of a potential end, but like, think of all the things that you built, and you have 4 children that you're also protecting in case something happens. So
I
I
mean,
hope she does get a
unfortunately,
prenup.
I don't think Teresa's going to listen to anybody except
It's
maybe
true.
her kids.
It's true.
You
She doesn't
know,
even
like,
listen to Louis, really.
yeah, I mean, it's not going to, like, I don't think that I don't think I don't think Andy has that kind of influence on her.
So there is an engagement party that Dolores is not invited to. I love that they call her Dolo. Great
Yeah.
nickname. So no Dolo at the engagement party. Teresa says that she just wanted to have couples that she hung out with at this engagement party. And so therefore only Jennifer and Melissa out of the Housewives were invited. What do you think about no Dolo?
Well, we know that the reason is because of Dina, which I don't know the history between Dina and Dolores, so whatever. I mean, I think it sucks, like, if they're good friends, but also, like, it's Teresa's engagement party. She can do whatever she wants. Like,
It's
I
true.
don't care.
It's true. I mean, if I was Dolores, I might have been offended. That happened to me once. Is that like I had this, like, I thought it was a close friend. We've been friends for like 15 years or so, and she ended up, I moved back to Toronto and she was still living in Vancouver, and she met some guy and like gets engaged really immediately, and I never met this particular guy. And so we were just talking though about her wedding and everything, and she's going to have her wedding overseas, and so she's like telling me the dates and everything to put money aside so that I can fly out to go to this wedding. And like I was just really excited for her because like I've been through a lot of her relationships, and it was really nice to see that she was happy and actually going to be getting married. And like kept on asking her, like, okay, so when should I book my ticket? Like, da 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 da, like just confirming everything and what she had planned. And does she have residences for people to stay? Whatever. I was just trying to get more details. And I got like uninvited and I didn't even know. I was like, I was really hurt. And like our relationship hasn't been the same since.
How did
And
you
then
get uninvited? Like, how did you find out that you were uninvited?
she was just, I think I heard other people had more information, and then
Oh,
she's like, yeah, well, we just didn't have enough like money for seating and stuff like that. And so like basically saying that she didn't have, I don't know, $50 for my dinner, and I was like, I would have paid for my dinner, like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? If that was the case, like I was planning to come and support you. It was just so bizarre. It's not like it was like I was gonna save money to go fly to another country to come
yeah,
support you at your wedding, and you couldn't afford a $50 plate of food for me. Like I
yeah.
didn't make the cut for that. I was like,
Where
wow,
was
that's like
where was the wedding?
in Slovakia.
Did you tell her how you felt? Like, had you talked
Um,
about it, or did you
well, I was
just
just
stop
kind of like,
talking?
I didn't feel like I could because, like you said, it was her wedding, and so she could do whatever she wants. And then I even saw her after that fact, and I was in Vancouver, and she like shows me like her wedding dress, and like like and I was like, why are you trying to like have this moment with me when you uninvited me to your wedding? And then she proceeds to tell me about how so many people have canceled and said they weren't going to be able to go overseas. And I was just like, this is all kinds of
That's really mean. That's rude. Yeah,
really rudeness.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's really hurtful.
So yeah, our relationship definitely has not been the same ever since. Um, and so, but I can understand a little bit how Dolores could feel upset because she has been through quite a bit with Dolores, and I mean, sorry, with Teresa, and for her not to feel that she's welcome at her engagement party because she doesn't have a husband or a partner that you guys hang out with. Like, what about the years of friendship that she's given you? So
Yeah.
thought it was
But also she
distasteful.
said she wasn't upset, so I'm gonna
Well,
believe
she
that.
wasn't set until people started asking her about it, and people then that's kind of also what I want to parallel is like people started asking me like, "Oh my god, what you're not going to be there?" Like it's like she's a friend that I've been to every single one of her like birthday parties. Her parents know me, invite me to her surprise party. Like it's just like I it was very shocking. And her brother was like, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're not here."
Oh
You know?
wow.
It's definitely weird. So I think that she's probably like me, like I didn't cry or anything over it, but like I was like, that's hurtful, but she can do whatever she wants. It's her wedding, it's her life. And that's probably how Dolores feels about it, I would assume. It's like it's hurtful. I would have liked to have been invited because I feel like I've invested in this friendship, but she can do whatever she wants. It's her wedding. And people stop asking me about it because it's hurtful.
Hmm.
But poor Dolo, like I would be pissed. Like f Teresa. What do you think about Teresa? Considering that she's like, you can tell she is the leader of this franchise. The people sitting closest to Andy are who I would say gets the highest paycheck on the season. So that was Teresa and Margaret. We're sitting next to Andy. Um, this is your first, you know, appearance with Teresa. What do you think of her as being the head of this franchise? After this whole season.
I mean, like I I get why she's been there since the start. I get it. She has done a lot for Housewives as a whole with her table flip and stuff. But like she doesn't ever, the sense that I get is that these shows are about these women fighting, and then the reunion is about showing growth, And then you come back, you have another season, you show that growth more, blah, blah, blah. The cycle continues. I'm not sure that she ever grows. Like, I didn't see her, like, apologize sincerely for anything or make amends with anyone or even listen to anyone. So I'm not really sure what the growth that she's making is. And I feel like that is something that gets talked a lot about the Housewives, is that, they fight, they grow, they fight about different things, they continue to grow and they evolve, and that's what keeps them on the show. So I think New Jersey is an anomaly in many ways, and maybe they're just playing into Italian stereotypes about being like macho and loyal and fighting. Like maybe that's what they're doing with New Jersey, and maybe that works for New Jersey, but
Well, I think I think you're right on the money, but I think it's like the Jersey thing because we even hear Melissa say a couple of times, like, you're not going to get that kind of response from me. We're from Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I'm
yeah,
Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl, and it's like,
yeah.
hmm.
Yeah, and when Andy lost his cool on this reunion, she was like, "You're in Jersey, like of course you did." Like he really lost it a couple of times.
Yeah, it was shocking. I mean, I think that he was also doing it for
The cameras,
dramatic
yes, of
effect.
course.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like I was surprised. I've never really seen him yell in that fashion before.
yeah.
Not I. Not I, not I. Okay, so then Melissa, we do this like before this reunion, was not invited or was not asked to be a bridesmaid in Teresa's wedding. Obviously her brother is allowed to be as a part of the wedding party, but he chose not to be part of the wedding party because his wife wasn't part of the wedding party. What did you think about this whole dynamic? And then what did you think about the fact that Teresa was part of her wedding party, but Teresa was pissed off about it because she was pregnant, and the respectful thing in Teresa's eyes would have been to wait until she had given birth before having her wedding and letting her be part of the wedding party.
I mean, Teresa's like friggin' delusional. Like she, like who who changes their wedding date because their sister-in-law is pregnant? Like that's just not how the world works. I mean, I don't know, is it? Like I don't really understand weddings in general, so I don't. Like would you expect that? Like if your brother was getting married and you were pregnant, would you expect him to change the date so that you could be a bridesmaid?
Um, I don't know about a bridesmaid, but I would probably consider it, or I would ask them about it if it's somebody in my wedding party. I'd be like, "Hey, like this is the date we're thinking of having it. You'll still be pregnant. Would you want to be pregnant in the wedding party?" I probably would ask, thinking about it.
But would you
Um,
change? Okay, but would you say I would like you in my wedding party, but you're going to be pregnant, so I understand if you don't want to, or would you say I will change the date so that you're not pregnant?
I
Like,
might consider changing the date. Obviously I'm not 100% sure what I'd actually do. I might consider it because I just know a lot of people don't want to be pregnant in wedding photos. Like even brides, like they're just like, ah, no, I'm gonna wait to either do it when I'm not showing or I'm gonna wait until after I lose like the baby weight. And so
yeah, and
I
I think that's like a problem. Like I'm not the kind of person who would get married, but if I was going to get married, I'm picking a date because that date means something to me.
absolutely,
You know, I mean,
that's true.
maybe,
I do like astrology and find
yeah,
out like
exactly. Like, or maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe people pick dates because of wedding venues. I don't know. I don't understand how weddings work. But I feel like what's wrong with being pregnant in a wedding photo? Like, I don't, you know, I just don't get it. So, and I think, you know, Teresa wants the world to revolve around her. And that's why we enjoy watching her. Like, I do enjoy watching her. That's,
she is
you know,
shocking. Like her perspective, just like, are you a real person?
no,
Like,
and that's why she's entertaining.
Melissa or Teresa does bring up some part of when Melissa comes on the show. Did you understand the drama that was still lingering? That's the
Yeah.
Dina stuff, right?
No, that's not the Dina
Oh,
stuff. Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Can you explain what that was?
So,
Because I
yes.
was watching
Okay.
it in a fury. I was just was like, I'm not rewinding to figure out what this is.
So the story is that the producers asked Melissa to come on the show without talking to Teresa about it. And Teresa was pissed. Like, she just found out after it was a done deal. And she didn't want Melissa to be on the show because she doesn't like Melissa. She didn't want, you know, she doesn't want to share the attention in her family or within her group or whatever. And so it's long-standing bitterness. Like, Melissa insists that Teresa knew, and Teresa insists that she doesn't know, and she feels betrayed that Melissa came on the show without her knowing.
Mm.
I mean, it's all stupid and petty, and I don't care about it, you know? Like,
Definitely, definitely,
I kind of
definitely
wish that Melissa was like a more interesting character. You know, I wish that she had more
likable.
going on for herself.
I
And
like her when she's drunk. It's it. She's kind
yeah,
of
I
fun.
mean, that's what I mean. Like, if she had something to stand on to almost match Teresa's force, it would be way more entertaining.
Absolutely. Like she's definitely plays second fiddle to Joe, which is who's playing second fiddle to Teresa. So she's just like she's not able to go toe to toe with Teresa because of like the family dynamic and the show dynamic. And so I agree with you. It just doesn't line up for me. It is
Yeah,
boring. Like
yeah,
I would like
and I feel like Joe, like I wrote down, Joe is the best housewife because he does have his own delusion, but he's willing to have a conversation and like hear people out. And
except for Gia, like he like that I hated that fight that he was having with
yeah,
Teresa's
yeah,
daughter.
that's true. That's true. But like in terms of the other adults, like at the reunion, you can see him seeing other people's perspective and he does want to get along with people. Whereas Teresa just is like, this is my, you know, this is my hill and I'm going to die on it. And there's just no movement. Um, and so I feel like Joe is able to embody this, I'm delusional, but I'm willing to see what other people have to say, where she's just straight up delusional. And like, I want a documentary about how they grew up because something about the way they grew up, like their parents or something. I don't know. There's like some deep seated something there that I'm fascinated by.
Yeah, I would love to. I love seeing anybody's, life stories and how they grew up, especially when you see
Yeah.
those photos. I need to see
Oh,
those
yeah.
photos
Yeah.
more of them, please.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in Italian culture, like weddings and big parties and events like that are really important in Italian culture. And things like, Melissa was so pissed about where she was seated at the engagement party. Like
Well,
these
it's because
things
she
matter.
wasn't at the head table,
But
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like these things matter. And, in Indian weddings, first of all, there's no invite list. Second of all, there's no seating chart. Whoever shows up, and then they sit wherever they sit. And so I don't for
Like a status thing with where you're sitting and like people being like, "Oh, you're not part of the wedding party." Like I think it's like, she was probably embarrassed.
yeah, exactly. But also they're not close, so like
Yeah, like you
what do
don't
you
want her to be
expect?
fake about it. Like
Yeah.
you want people to be real all the time. Like so she's being real and you're obviously like now you're bitter and pissed because like
Yeah.
she didn't
But
have
but
you.
then but then she also says, "I'm happy for you. I don't care." But then she talks about it. So it's like, do you care? Do you not care? Like, just pick a side and then be consistent, because you not being consistent makes you seem like a victim. And really, it's just about a stupid wedding. So what makes you such a victim?
Um, I don't know why I wrote this down, but I wrote down Jen mediates why Teresa's mad at Melissa. And then I wrote have Melissa's back blackout. Blackout?
Oh, because they had a blackout. The show went
Oh,
dark.
the show went dark. Yeah. I'm sure that was producer induced.
But why? But why though? It wasn't like they were in the midst of some heightened fight and they wanted to dissipate the energy.
Maybe they just planned it and they're just like, okay, let's just do this now. Like, I don't know.
There.
So I thought that Jen, I can't remember what she said exactly right now, but I did think that she had a good handle as to why Teresa was upset. And I thought she did relay it in a decently respectful and clear fashion.
Do you remember what she said?
No. I didn't even write it down. I thought I'd remember. I don't remember. And I don't have my remote to go put it on the TV. Then we have the crooked talk though with Jen, and
I mean, I kind of love that she brought out the
obviously I want to
blow up.
see a Bristol board or whatever poster board of like tweets or whatever on Instagram posts.
Whatever they are. Yeah.
That was amazing. I thought that the color of it was just like it popped. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. But also, Jen, who cares?
I mean, I think that she had a point. Her point was
really,
that she didn't start it.
But she really wanted to be vindicated. And I just feel like somebody who wants to be vindicated doesn't
hear the other person's side.
Well, it's not even that. It's like they're not this worked up, like, I don't know.
I don't remember when Joe came on to the stage, whatever. But at that point, though, with the crooked talk, he storms off, and then there was all this backstage stuff, and Andy's backstage, and they're all kind of fighting backstage. I know that you're saying that you kind of appreciate that Joe wants to dissipate conflict, but I can't stand him.
No, I agree. Yeah,
yeah, not great. I mean, I would like him maybe better if I knew their whole life story, because then I would just see where they came from and have a little bit more compassion. Yeah. But just the version that I get to see on this season and this reunion, I'm just like,
no, he's a misogynist, and Melissa is an apologist for him. Like there were, I didn't like note it down, and I can't remember, what was said, but there were things that he said that I was just like, wow, like how is Andy not holding him accountable for saying this? And then Melissa was like, oh, like Melissa said things like, oh, you're asking for it. And like, there were just things that she said that I was just like, okay, like you clearly don't see the misogyny. I think even Teresa sees misogyny, and I don't think Melissa does.
Well, I think Melissa's desperate to have this status and this clout of this family. And so she will sacrifice anything for it. So it seems. So
right.
We learned that David and Frank are living together. So Dolores's ex-boyfriend and ex-husband are living together, which I'm just like, wild. These two are so incestuous. It's so fascinating.
Entertaining. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And David apparently is dating Louis's ex, most recent ex. So their ex before he met Teresa, not the exes that have been accusing him of certain things. We hear that Lisa Rinna gets a shout out about Teresa's parenting, and I was just like, Lisa Rinna is not the person, in my opinion, who you should be excited of that like appreciates what you do about anything. I'm not a Lisa Rinna fan.
No, wait, what? No, Lisa Rinna. No, Rihanna.
Oh, I thought Lisa Rinna.
No.
I only looked and flashed for a second. Okay, because Rihanna's pregnant. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was
And
Rihanna.
oh my god, I honestly all I saw was the R, and I think, why did I think it was Lisa Rinna? Thank you.
No, it's I read Rihanna wants to be the kind
You're
of
probably
parent.
right. I probably just like honestly just assumed it was Lisa Rinna.
But I'm also confused. Like, what about Teresa's parenting is Rihanna trying to emulate?
I mean, I think the fact that like she has these daughters and she does seem to have mature conversations with them, and I think that she does come off as a good mom, and that her kids love her, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do love her. It's true.
And you could tell that she will do anything for her family. Even like we could see this with the Lou stuff. So maybe that's what Rihanna is looking up. Oh my god, I can't believe I thought it was Lisa. The whole time I was like, ugh, Lisa Rinna.
I love that.
Rihanna though, I mean, she does watch all these shows. She watches like The Challenge. She watches obviously this Housewives of Jersey. So that's fun. That's definitely worthy of telling Teresa on the show. So
yeah,
I was like, Lisa Rinna, who cares? Hilarious. So then we have a conversation about and I think Andy brings it up about maybe some kids may not be so resilient, talking about with Margaret, how she kind of unearthed the infidelity on the show to the point where Jen is going to have to discuss this with her children. And you and I also thought it was pretty insensitive for Margaret to be like, the kids are resilient. It's like, that's not great. Like, the resilient kids usually have years of therapy. You know what I mean?
Well, like, especially because I didn't really fully understand this until the reunion. Like, her and Joe were previously married and had kids, and then they cheated with each other, and then they broke up their families. So between them, they have 6 kids that suffered through that. So your kids have been hurt by something very similar. And I feel like to say that, oh, kids are really resilient is really disrespectful to your own kids who have probably went through something really painful. And yes, probably went through lots of therapy to,
bounce back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know that people are such big fans of Margaret, even on this reunion. And I do think that she has a lot of points. And I think a lot of times she is right. I couldn't stand her still. I tried. I'm trying to like Margaret because people are like, I'm Margaret's side. I'm not Jen's side. Jen's the worst. I'm like, I don't really care for either of them, but Margaret annoyed me more in her.
I just feel like Margaret is, because I haven't seen previous seasons, I feel like she's disingenuous in this way where she's like,
I'm doing this because like I care about you.
Yeah, and she like really, she really came after both Jen and Teresa. She didn't just like ask a question. She asked and bullied the question. She badgered these women. And then, in the reunion, she's just like, I just want what's best for you. And I don't think
while barking.
Yeah, like, I don't think putting this stuff out on a globally watched television show is what's best for somebody.
Absolutely. And so
even though Jen and Bill said, oh, blah, 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 watch, whatever, the truth will set you free, whatever they said, but
So we didn't like Teresa's jumpsuit. That was when that happened.
I didn't like it. But it was very Teresa, so
it was very Teresa. It was,
I don't often like what she wears, so.
You often do?
No, I don't often like what she wears.
Agreed. I think I usually like what Melissa wears the best. She usually has the most youthful, kind of fun looks.
Yeah.
We learned that Jackie's eating normal food now, like more regularly. So I mean, that was good to see that her therapy and has been helping her change the way she's living, and so I think that that's great. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's great. And I think, she's not, I think she's coming back for a reduced role next season. And I think what I've read as part of it is because of her healing journey. And I think that's a good thing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We get the fat shaming comments about Teresa to Margaret. I'm just like, man, like, I mean, no, okay, yes, Teresa, don't talk about other women's bodies
Yeah.
and little jabs about like, oh, she's always going to be eating. Like, it could come across as funny if you guys are friends and in a good place, but like, it's definitely
But
seems
it's not.
like shaming. Just
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, do you need to say that? No, you don't. But
Well,
yeah,
the thing is, I don't even know if Teresa knows what fat shaming is or
that's true. She's not really that
why
socially aware.
it's wrong. Like, I think in her mind, it's better to be skinny. Like, I really do think that, if her daughters, for example, put on weight, then
Fat
she
camp
would have,
kind of thing.
she would, be like, oh, we're going to cut the calories and you're going to start working out more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do agree with you. Absolutely. Um, I wrote down Jen did all the talking with Bill. He was embarrassed. I definitely felt though that I don't know if this is when the husbands were on the show yet, but I definitely felt that when Bill responded, I thought he responded in a way that was really eloquent. I thought that he acknowledged that what people might be thinking. He's like, it really hurts me for you to think that I do not love my wife. Like, I was embarrassed that I hurt, you know what I mean? Like how he came across explaining where he was coming from. I thought it was very good.
Mhm.
And I was impressed by how much compassion that he had, how well he spoke about the situation, and it came from it seemed as though he was quite intelligent in how and emotionally intelligent, which we haven't really seen in Bill.
From him.
So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I was definitely impressed by Billy Boy, and he looks, I thought, the most handsome out of all the men.
Yeah, he did look the best out of the men. I agree.
Uh, Andy does say, if you have something to hide, don't go on reality TV. What do you think about that statement?
I mean, yeah, but like they all of them. Which housewife in Housewives history hasn't had something to hide? Like everybody has. I have something to hide. Like, I'm just.
I'm like, oh, what?
No, like, don't you have things in your life that you don't like want people to know? Like habits that you have, maybe, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Definitely,
oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we don't all have like secret affairs or stuff, but like, I maybe don't want people to know that I eat like a big bag of chips at 1 in the morning regularly. Things like that. I mean, also, I think he said that because he was trying to be like not devil's advocate, but like, because everybody asks that question, but also he doesn't want housewives that don't have secrets. Like, housewives with secrets are what make the show. So
absolutely, like look at all these court cases that are coming out, and so like,
exactly,
yes, it's real.
Yeah,
it is real. So that's actually where Jen does the Instagram post with the social media stuff. But it started from making fun. Oh yeah. Anyways, I obviously I'm done with this storyline. Like, get over it. Crooked. She said crooked. Like, it's not the big deal. Said that. What was the other line that she said? Crooked and a bitch boy. Okay, like you're really that offended that someone called you a bitch boy? Who cares?
yeah. Who cares? Who cares?
Like, they obviously just haven't really had real problems. Like I'm just thinking of all the things that I've been called in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Bitch boy wouldn't wouldn't really get me off.
No, but I mean, even like Jackie got upset that somebody called her this. Who was it that said this?
Dolores. Dolores.
Yeah, I'm just like, and she's like, "Oh, I'm an accomplished woman." It's like, if you're an accomplished woman, why are you so upset? Like, I feel that the more secure I feel in myself, the less that other people diminishing me affects me. That's just me personally.
Oh, well,
And I don't,
absolutely, because
yeah,
you're not feeling needing to be validated by these people. Because it's like,
exactly. So it's like, yeah, I get it. It's not appropriate to say, oh, this, blah, blah, blah. But also, Jackie, are you an accomplished woman who knows where what she's about, or are you not?
when she said that, I was just like, to me, and this is just me psychoanalyzing the situation, that she, I could see all of her insecurities when she said that. To me, like, the reasons why the eating disorder exists,
Yeah,
like her not feeling sure in her body, I
yeah,
felt that she was masking that with those words.
absolutely.
But in
Absolutely.
my opinion, all I saw was insecurities.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And obviously I don't want anybody to feel bad, but I'm also like, come on, like, get some, like, get some self-esteem here, like, go get some counseling. Like,
Yeah.
I know she's going to have some help with having the clinic that she goes to, but I think she also needs to maybe speak to a life coach, or like some sort of therapist that can help bring in her self-esteem. Because what's the point of having better food habits if the reason why you started controlling your food intake was to make you feel better about yourself?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I mean, I'm not a specialist for eating disorders, so I don't know what goes on in those facilities, but I really hope that they're going to the root of the problem, not just like her portioning and
Yeah.
her, trying new things. Like, it's deep rooted in self-esteem. And
Yeah.
so I definitely think that really jumped out. And that's going to also be why her role is reduced this season, because being on the show probably really, really triggers her insecurities. Like, with
Yeah.
all these very strong women
Yeah.
that they are willing to say whatever they want to say. And I don't know if she feels as though she's equal to them, even though
Yeah.
she is, but I don't know if
Yeah.
she feels that way.
Yeah. I agree. I think you're right. Yeah.
So Margaret, they talk about Margaret joking about the first time humping, or having the stench, banging Joe, having the stench of him on her, or the roses, or whatever it was. Um, and then there was like a segment of all the terrible things that Margaret said about people. So something about the lip liner and mail order bride and all this stuff. It didn't look good. I mean, considering she's being this whole like, I'm always just saying the best things for people, and like but my heart's always in the right place. Even though I don't think what she said was that bad, but seeing it in the compilation, I was like, it didn't make, in my opinion, Margaret look great.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It didn't.
I'm like, So Margaret is mad that Jen tried to get her first. What am I writing about? Fired. What am I? Oh, got it. So we learned that Jen gets this, I was pissed off about this. Okay. So get the person that had the affair with her husband fired.
Fired.
And Margaret takes offense to this and feels as though Jen is blaming the woman and not her husband. What do you think about that whole situation?
I think that Jen trying to get the woman fired is obviously shady and puts blame on her. And I don't think that that's okay.
Well,
But
now,
I
where
don't
was she
think
getting her fired from? Was it working at the same clinic where
so.
Bill
She was a
works?
pharmaceutical rep. So I think from the pharmacy company
Oh,
that
gotcha.
she worked for. So that she didn't go to the clinic and talk to Bill Aiden anymore, I guess. But I don't think that I've never heard Jen say I blame the woman, So, I mean, not specifically in those words, but yeah, we don't see her like berating her husband about it. So,
So I felt that obviously it's a bit petty for her to go and go to that extra step of talking to try to get her fired or whatever. I get that. But the way that Margaret was going on,
yeah,
I was just like,
I
sit
agree.
down, Margaret.
I agree with
Like,
you. Yeah.
just because you've been the other woman and you wouldn't have wanted to be treated in
Fired.
that fashion by the wife of the person that you're cheating with, like, doesn't mean that she's not allowed to have an irrational reaction to something that's going on in her relationship.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I don't agree what she did, but you deciding that what she did was because she, blames the woman and like making it this whole like kind of political statement, and that she's moralistically more sound than Jen is, because Jen, like, she had an irrational response to something that was going on in her life. And the fact that you're fully judging her on that and deciding what her character is because she had a moment where she acted irrationally, it also pissed me off. I'm like, where's that compassion that you keep on speaking that you have for
Yeah.
everybody?
Okay, but
Like,
if you were married to, let's say you were married to a doctor and you found out that your husband was having an affair with a pharmaceutical rep that, he met through work, and this rep comes to his clinic to sell him products or whatever, show him about products, what would you do? Okay, maybe you wouldn't stay with him, but if you were going to stay, if you chose to, yes, I'm going to stay with him, would you not want that woman removed from his clinic?
yeah,
Like, would
I
you
think
not want
so.
all contact?
Absolutely.
Like,
I probably.
yeah. So,
Probably. And like, I'd
I
be
mean,
like, and probably if I was being petty about it, I would go call their company and being like, your your employee is sleeping with her clients and it's
yeah,
affecting my marriage.
yeah,
That doesn't look good on a company. And so I'm not that mad at Jen for doing it.
yeah. I mean,
Not as mad as Margaret is. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and Margaret was like, "Oh, how do you know that she didn't have kids?" Blah blah. Blah. And Jen was like, "Yeah, I knew. I know that she doesn't have kids." So,
A, she knows she doesn't have kids. And Margaret, you know that Jen does have kids.
yeah, exactly. I just feel like the way that Jen conducts herself or engages in these conversations, really, she doesn't hold herself to the same standard that she purports to be holding other people to.
You talk about Margaret?
Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly what you just said is like, oh, she cares about the other woman having kids, but she doesn't care about Jen's kids. Or her own, based on like what she said about kids being resilient.
Exactly. It's like, and Margaret just is going to for this other woman who was that had a part in doing something in their relationship. Like, I know a lot of women who I'm sure that Bill was maybe giving signs that he was available, right?
Yeah.
Usually people that get into these affairs, there's something going on in their own personal life, and they're not giving off that whole like, I'm in a relationship, don't talk to me. So I'm sure that he was going through something and he was open. But I'm sure that pharmaceutical rep knew that he was married.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that is also a little bit disingenuous. You know what I mean? To like to go into to get yourself involved with a married man. And so the fact that Margaret is defending this woman so with her full chest, like defending this woman and the potential children she may have, and it's like, that woman most likely knew that Bill had a wife and a family. And so, yeah, we should be blaming Bill for this, but that woman made a choice as well to get involved in this. And I think that she deserves whatever consequences she gets from it to a certain degree.
I mean, but Margaret also was a woman who was married and chose to have an affair with a married woman. So
Yeah.
she's sympathizing with the other woman
Yeah,
because she is the
fine.
other woman. So,
But like, I don't know. I was pissed. I was very irritated. And I was like, shut up, Margaret. Shut
Yeah.
up, Margaret. Shut up, Margaret. Um, and you know what? That's what Andy decided to do. That's when he had his first stream when he's shut up.
Yeah.
Angie loses it. Fun. So Andy asks about the affair, and so yeah, that's when we get the moment with Bill, and they talk about it. And I thought the way that Bill handled it was great. Um, I love the story personally that Jen followed him to Miami because she was like, worried that he was cheating, and like obviously it's not necessarily what I would do, but like I like that it's kind of badass. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna get into his room, I'm gonna show up there. Like I understand a little bit why Bill was turned on by this because like A, it shows that she cares. B, it shows that like she's really capable of being kind of clandestine and like, cloak and dagger about it. So I'm happy that even though something terrible happened, that maybe something kind of evolved in their relationship. What do you think about Jen showing up in Miami?
I mean, yeah, I think that took a lot of guts on her part.
Man, I'd be so scared if I was doing that. I'd be like, oh my God, what am I going to find?
I mean, she went expecting to find another woman there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess it worked out for them.
Yeah, they decided to shut it off, like not think about it for 10 years, which I think is pretty impressive. I don't think that I would be able to just completely forget about it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's minor things that my partner does that I can't forget about. Things that are not betrayals by any means.
It's very funny. So Margaret all of a sudden feels bad that, not all of a sudden, but feels bad that Jen's children were hurt. It's like, that children are going to be hurt. You said that, well, they're resilient. So like you were recognizing that there was a potential of these children were going to get hurt and you didn't care. I think that she needs to come to terms with that. She doesn't care about Jen's children. She cared more about getting this story out.
The storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and her storyline on the show.
So the husbands join. Okay, that's where the husbands join in officially. What do you think about Margaret's husband's plastic surgery? His eyes just look actually a little strange to me.
I also would not have noticed.
I don't think I would have noticed, but once he pointed it out, I was like, they just looked a little bit too, maybe tight. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he seemed happy with it, that he got the fat out of the bottom of his eyes taken out. Good for him. Louis did not enjoy his first season. He said it was horrible, which I can understand.
I mean, it was.
He definitely felt judged, which he was. He does explain the whole video in the exact fashion that we were able to deduce right away with what it was. And they're like, well, why didn't you guys just... And like, you see Georgia like clapping, like, why did you just say this right from the beginning? It's like, why wouldn't you just assume this right from the beginning?
Yeah, like, I don't understand what the new information was. Even Marge, like, accepting as though that was a real answer. Like, what... Like, I don't get it. I'm confused about, what was different.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing was different. Like, I mean, maybe him just saying it from his mouth instead of them making their own assumptions. But, like, I don't necessarily know if Louis is a great guy. We had a couple of episodes where we speculated that I could see him potentially being the version of him that he's being painted on by some of his painted as by some of his exes.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
When we both saw that video, we deduced exactly what he said. And so why wouldn't they just, I mean, I guess it's the storyline, but like,
well, the thing is, maybe, so we were deducing those things because we had a bunch of information. Mm-hmm. They filmed, I think, before a lot of that information came out, maybe. Actually, I don't know. No, that's not true because that's just when I was looking it up. So that information is probably already out there. Yeah, I don't know.
They're just only all for the storyline, or they're just not bright?
No, I mean, I think the storyline carried the season, so I think it
But
was
no,
for
it
the
did it carry
storyline.
it, or did it
No,
clobber it? Like,
no, no,
it
no. I mean,
totally.
that is all that happened this season, right? It was like the Jen Bill stuff and then the Teresa Louis stuff. Like, not much else happened this season. So I feel like them being in denial or not having enough information or not even, Louis not even answering the questions, that's what gave them that many episodes. So there was an advantage for them to keep
Prolong it.
deflecting and, not do enough research or not use their own brains.
So we do learn that Dolores has a new beau. It doesn't seem like Frank likes him. They don't see eye to eye, which is interesting. What did I write down? He thinks he looks like Buzz Lightyear. I'm like, why am I writing down Buzz Lightyear? I didn't understand it, my own notes. Have you seen what this person looks like? I have not seen him.
No, but I know the name. Wasn't he like an astronaut or something?
Oh no, Buzz Lightyear is from Toy Story.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There is
Oh,
a Buzz Aldridge, I think, is the name of the astronaut.
Wait. I don't understand the reference.
Buzz Lightyear? They're saying that her new boyfriend reminds him of Buzz Lightyear.
No, I know, but I don't understand why.
Oh, I don't know what he looks like.
Okay. Shit, I didn't know that it was like a cartoon or like an animated whatever that genre of film
Cartoon?
is.
Animation?
Yeah,
I guess
animation,
it's cartoon. So Louis explains the video. Joe claps. Margaret says that she just wanted to get ahead of the video, wanted to get ahead of the story, that she was all like, and this is what I know we're flogging a dead horse here, but like, this is what's so frustrating about Margaret is that if you were trying to be so good and kind, why are you this angry and aggressive with how you need to get this information to your friend?
Yeah.
Like, if I heard that one of my best friends was like having an affair or what, like had some like unsavory press coming out, I would be sitting them down and being like, okay, this is a really important conversation. Like, I don't know, like, I didn't want to tell you, but this is what I hear is going on in the media. I want you to be able to get out ahead of it, like, just so you know what's coming, but it's starting to build up. I wouldn't be yelling at them that like they're not listening to her and like they need to explain to her why this video is coming out. Like, who are you?
Yeah, Margaret? I mean, and Teresa even made a point. She was like, "You're not my friend, so I don't need to listen to you." And Andy said, if Dolores was to say something, she was like, "Well, Dolores would never do that." So
Andy reads a laundry list of the Louis allegations, or like the allegations against Louis from his exes. Something about like a toxic relationship. He demanded sex 4 times a day. There was also physical violence in front of the kids or something like that. I don't think that he really explained things that well. I mean, they kind of more so focus on the sex 4 times a day response where he's like, I could never have sex 4 times a day.
Well, I don't think he answered any of those questions. Like saying I could never have sex 4 times a day doesn't change the fact that he might have at one point demanded sex 4 times a day.
I could like I'm not interested in Louis at all. I could totally picture him demanding sex 4 times a day.
Exactly.
I could really picture that.
Exactly.
And I could picture him not necessarily hitting somebody, but I can picture him being aggressively fighting.
Yeah,
like I see there's a flicker of rage behind his eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and
even the
hear
way
it sometimes.
Even the way that like he spoke to Teresa in that moment where he was like, if you love me, I need you to calm down. I don't like the way that you're, whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
At the party?
No.
Or on the reunion.
At the party too, but at the reunion where
yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. when the men were leaving. Like even that was kind of,
There's a
like,
tone that he gets
yeah.
sometimes, and I'm like, that's rude.
Yeah, it's like not physically violent, but it's not appropriate either. Like it made me uncomfortable.
And
And there's a reason why they subtitle or like captioned that and showed it to us.
well, and like Teresa just like she just kind
Yeah.
of like he's kind of figuring out how to like get her under his thumb, which is very very interesting.
Yeah, he's
um
manipulating.
it's like I am worried. I am worried as a a fan of people and human beings having the best life possible for themselves. And I appreciate her love bubble, but I actually don't know if Louis is a good guy. We talked about it before, but
Yeah, I agree.
he the love bombing, as we know, because she just keeps on going on about like, oh, my engagement, oh my god, it was so
Yeah.
amazing, so beautiful, and I'm like, that would be the red flag central. Like, I no, no. Doesn't seem real to me. But it's her life. She's a 50-year-old woman. She'll figure it out. Also, the fact that Louis' favorite TV show is Sex and the City. What do you think about that? And then he wants to just like go to City Hall and get the marriage license,
To the
and then
city wedding.
yeah, have a Sex and the City wedding at like a diner and rent out a
I mean,
diner.
I thought that was kind of funny.
But like, I feel like he's just saying that because he's trying to be like the best guy
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that would actually want that.
No, I think he is the kind of guy that does not want a big wedding.
A big, not maybe not a big wedding, but at a diner.
No, I think I believe that that's what he wants.
Okay. Um, Bill was quite allocated in his response. We talked about that already. Frank tells Bill. Bill tells Jen. Oh, okay. So we do learn that it was Frank that actually started off the rumor that Jen was kind of being a little bit too nosy about. So Frank tells Bill about potential or cheating that was happening with Jackie's husband, and Bill obviously tells his wife. And why doesn't Frank get any heat for this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I still don't really think it's that bad what Jennifer did. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that whole thing where Jennifer really started yelling and everyone was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she was yelling at Bill and she was yelling at Frank. And that's when she was like, I just want to be vindicated. And I'm confused about, like, nothing came of that whole thing. And I also don't think that what Jen did was so horrible. And I don't care.
exactly. Done. We don't care. Louis has to step down from his company that he started, which I think is also always very interesting when people have to step down from a company that they started. Something similar happened with Dove Charney from American Apparel. I worked at the very first American Apparel in Montreal, so like I knew Dove pretty well. Like, I had many staff meetings. I was a manager for him at one point, and so like I've had to have quite a few interactions with him back in the day. This is in like, I don't know, 2004 or 5. And he had some allegations come out of him being really inappropriate, and he was inappropriate sometimes. So I believe that these were all true. But the fact that he built American Apparel to the size that he did, and it was all over, like it's all over at least North America, as far as I know, huge company that he started by giving out t-shirts on a street corner. I just don't even understand how you could lose your company for something that you did. Still think it's
Well,
crazy.
if your company goes public, then you're accountable to a larger base. And if you're a liability, then your company will push you out.
It's shocking. I mean, I don't understand how that side of business works, but like, just someone's blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I don't agree with anything that Dove has done, but I can't. That's so. like horrible to lose your whole
Well,
company.
the thing is,
Well,
it wasn't his company at the end. He
I
was
guess
just,
anymore.
you know what I mean? Like he wasn't the sole owner, and that's a risk that you take by going public or taking on more investors. And it's the same thing with Amanda and what's his name from Summer House. They have investors. They're accountable to their investors. That's why
Okay,
they kept bringing up the whole prenup thing, because if
that's
you
just more
invest
being
2
productive.
million in a company and then the
They
owner
break up
gets
and they
and then
have to
the
split it.
exactly, then your investment is lost because it's going to the ex-wife or whatever, the ex whatever. So if you have investors, or it's a public company, then it's not your company anymore. And that's a choice that you make in most of those situations. Not all, I guess, but most.
So I felt bad for Louis having to step down. I don't know what these allegations, if they're true or not, but like that kind of sucks. I wonder what he's going to do instead.
Oh, I feel
Louis
like
does.
he's got lots of companies. Also, I've heard that lots of his companies are under investigation or being, like, I've heard that there's some scamming with his companies. So
Yeesh.
is
So
he
maybe he's being stepped down for a different reason, but he's
I
using
think
it.
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, he's fine. Like, we don't need to worry about Louis.
Well, Louis doesn't blame Margaret, which
No,
Teresa.
because he knows he can't, because Margaret just brought that shit to the show. It was already in public.
Mhm.
Not that
The
I'm defending
fighting
Margaret, but
started to go back and forth, obviously, about this point, because Teresa doesn't forgive Margaret, and Teresa just loves getting in little jabs in there. She never stops. Like
she
she
really
just
doesn't.
never ever stops, and so much so that Andy literally freaks out. I definitely was shocked that he got to that height of, but I think it was a little bit dramatic, but like definitely screamed. Definitely scream. So Margaret, Andy freaks out. What is Margaret and Teresa scream? More screaming after the Andy screams? Like what?
Yeah, I know.
Boring. Andy apologizes for yelling, and then we are kind of at the end of the third part of this reunion. Like we literally have gotten through all three parts of this reunion in the time that it usually takes us to cover one episode,
Episode,
which
yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
So we kind of just learn about what people's takeaways from this season is. Jackie, the show saved her life, so I'm really happy then that this is an opportunity for her to do some healing. Dolores, she really loved her charity event and would share this. I don't know what the rest of that was that I wrote. I would share this. I don't know. Margaret loved being able to celebrate with Marge Senior, her birthday, and having the resolution at the cafe with Jen was something that she was going to cherish. Jen is going to work harder. She's evolving as a person. Cool. Melissa, she is really happy that her daughter is in full recovery and is back to tumbling, and that she
But
seems to be happier again. Go ahead.
like, he didn't ask about their lives. He asked about the show, and her daughter's storyline on the show was minuscule. So why are you talking about your daughter's recovery when it wasn't even shown on the show? Like, I don't think any of them answered the question, really.
I know. I did want to hear. I wanted to hear the answer of his question, and it's like I was just thinking. I'm like, I guess this is what they rehearsed. Um, I don't know. I didn't
Or
get why.
yeah, or like maybe they filmed all that stuff and then they just edited it all out, and
Maybe.
at the reunion they didn't know. Like, it just, Melissa's storyline, I just don't understand. Like, I would want to see all that stuff about the daughter if the daughter would show it, but why we didn't see it.
Saw nothing, but I'm glad that Antonia has healed.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Teresa, I'm the happiest I've ever been. And she does say, I'm sorry about getting to that point and getting super angry. So I think that's the table flip moment or the table
Mhm.
push moment that she's sorry that she actually got to that point again. And that was pretty much it. They decided to do a cheers with some champagne. And if I wrote this down correctly, to health and happiness. I think Dolores started this cheers.
Oh yeah.
To everyone and friendship and making amends and to Jersey.
Right.
Say two. That's it. That's it. That was the whole season. You know what? We should have just only watched the reunion. We would have gotten the entire season down.
Except you know what was missing from the reunion? Tracy and Tiki Barber.
Oh my! I don't even remember them.
And you know what? They were there. They just they were edited out.
That's funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Amazing. I actually didn't even miss them, remember that they were part of anything. Brutal. Not even to get a mini segment.
Not even to get a mini segment.
For like a garbage filled reunion. Like there was nothing when it happened.
Yeah.
They didn't have an extra 3 minutes.
No.
Wow. Well, that shows that I'm sure that she's not coming back as a housewife, that she might come back as a friend of again, but
I don't even think she's coming back as a friend of.
Yikes. Oh boy. Well, it was been fun talking about this season with you. Was there anything else about this reunion that we didn't mention that you want to talk about?
No, I think I got it. I think I'm like just over the whole theme for New Jersey, which is like loyalty. Like I just don't care. I really don't.
Really don't. Oh, I'm sorry, DM Rocks. I didn't see that you were here. I had something that was covering up that side. Okay, so DM Rocks says in an interview, Dolores said she is done with Jennifer and unfollowed her on Instagram, and she's still friends with Teresa. Okay,
I heard about this too.
I understand. Thank you. So sorry I didn't see this earlier. Go ahead.
But is it about the reunion, or is like did something else happen?
I think this is before the reunion. I'm thinking that this is why they have a problem. So yeah, maybe they know. Hold on.
Right. The reason we did not see Tracy because she was right. Yeah.
Cut out. And Jackie is demoted to friend of next season. Yes, that is true. That is true. Brutal. Well, that's pretty much it about the season. Thank you, DM Rocks, for being here. I'm sorry I didn't see your comment sooner. I had pop-ups that were covering it. And so thank you for being here and being supportive of our journey here with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We are considering picking up the Housewives of Beverly Hills to start probably at this time slot next Wednesday.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Wait, is it Thursday? Because I think it airs on Wednesdays.
It airs on Wednesday, correct. So we'll do the first 2 episodes. And maybe we'll figure out like a system to like power through them quickly, because maybe we can also pull in a little bit of Atlanta for that week. So we'll figure it out. But we'll come back and do at least a general housewife chit chat on Thursdays. We'll say noon Eastern, unless that changes to 2 p.m. Eastern. But noon is probably good. Noon will probably work best. Do you have anything that you're working on that you'd like to share with the peoples?
I don't have anything that I'm currently working on.
Well, that's okay.
No.
We could have the people subscribe.
Yes.
That's fun. Right? Subscribe. Like this video. Even if you did not love the season, or if you did love the season, let us know in the comments.
Tell us what you loved about the season. Maybe we're missing
favorite moments. If we are just being too Canadian about it and we want to see different content, like tell us why you love this season if you did, and why you didn't love the season if you didn't. Let us know in the comments and we will interact with you there. And I guess we'll see you next week for some Beverly Hills drama. Love it.
Have a good week.
Bye everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.